another random horror review. I am your host, Moon616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 68 is here, and I've got another one here from Artsploitation Films. Like I always say, one of my favorite companies out there putting out films. They put out so much cool stuff from around the world, so if you don't mind subtitled films, definitely give Artsploitation a look. They're definitely worth a look. So, but yeah, for today's review, from 2015, a film coming straight from Germany, and it is called Der Bunker, and that is translated into The Bunker. Very, very easy translation. Yeah, another film I didn't know anything about. When I first saw this title, when Artsploitation sent out their press releases, I thought it was going to be a horror film. But this one right here is definitely not a bona fide horror film. I wouldn't say it's much horror at all, but we'll get into that in a minute here. But getting into the synopsis here, basically what we have is we have this student who is looking for a place to kind of lay low and do some work and, you know, just get some peace and quiet and do his studies and do some work and stuff. So he seeks out this this place in this house. So he goes to this couple's house where they have this kind of like this bunker lair in their place where he rents out. But what he doesn't know is that this couple is a very strange couple. They're very out there and eccentric and stuff. And they have this like 8-year-old man-child that, you know, he's got learning disabilities and things like that. And basically what they're trying to do is the parents are trying to teach this 8-year-old boy, Claus, everything that he needs to know so he can become president of the United States of America. So it's just like right there, you know, the synopsis is very, very strange. But of course, you know, the mom starts to realize that the father is not doing his job overly that well. So she goes to the student and asks him if, you know, if he could help out with teaching Claus a few things because whatever the father is doing is not working. So the student kind of reluctantly, you know, kind of accepts it and starts to teach him some things and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the mom is getting like these very odd kind of, I don't know, she's talking to like this voice. It's kind of like this supernatural voice and things like that, almost getting like certain directions from that. And yeah, so that's basically the synopsis of the film right there. Now, if that sounded weird, it's because it is weird. This is a very, very oddball film. Now, my thoughts on this one. This film right here is one of those films that you know right from the opening scene it's going to be very, very strange. The opening scene is basically the mother and father and the son eating dinner, and just the way the dialogue, the way it's shot, and the way their facial expressions are, and the things that they're saying, you know it's just going to be strange right from that opening scene. Now, the interesting thing about this film is this film, to me, never really knows what it wants to be or what it wants to accomplish. Now, generally, I would have a lot of problems with that, but I think this one oddly worked very beautifully in itself. What the director accomplished here was something very kind of unique. This one right here is one of those films that when you're watching it, the tone changes dramatically from scene to scene. Basically what we have here is we have like a dramatic thriller mixed in with lots of like dark comedy, sci-fi elements, maybe minor horror, but I wouldn't even go as far to say that. But it does have like a lot of genres of film mixed into one right here. It's a very, very strange film. And generally, like I said, I would probably, you know, kind of denounce the film a lot because I have a problem with films that really don't know what they're trying to be. But this one, it does it so elegantly because from scene to scene, you notice that it gets very dramatic in scenes and it's very kind of thrilling and there's sci-fi elements. There's all this dark comedy around the film that's actually pretty funny, I will say. But it never... One of those elements of film never kind of overtakes the other one. Like the dark comedy doesn't overtake the dramatic scenes and stuff. So it kind of blends itself perfect in this film. And mixed in with some of the greatest performances, man. I think the father's facial expressions and the weirdness of his character is just so perfect for this. You don't really know a lot about these characters and what their true motives are. And I find that I find it so elegant in the film because it's very mysterious. The whole film is super, super mysterious because you really don't know a lot of what's going on. You don't know where these parents are from or what's the deal with their child. Like, you know he's got learning disabilities and stuff, and he's obviously not 8 years old, but they claim that he's 8 years old and stuff. There's a couple really strange scenes in this film where the son is having very weird relationships with the mom, which are supposed to be awkward, and they come off perfectly. The director did it very, very well in this. They come off just awesomely awkward. But yeah, this is a really well shot film. I thought the cinematography was perfect for what it was. There's a lot of weird close-up shots and a lot of weird kind of far widescreen shots and stuff, and I just, the way they did it was awesome. Another really cool element to this film is the music. The music at certain points in the film is so dramatic and so funny, fitting to the scenes, and it's just, I found that was just a great kind of element to the film that really did work for, you know, how the tone is always changing. Well, the music is always changing. It's got like this very classic pieces to like metal to like, it's kind of funny. But the very cool thing about this film is that it's very much in a league of its own. But if I had to kind of compare it to things, you know, say if you mix like a David Lynch and you know, like a Cronenberg film, you know, you get something like this, you know, like Cronenberg's sci-fi ideas with David Lynch's weirdness. This one isn't as weird as a film like Eraserhead, but there is moments in the film where kind of, if you've seen Eraserhead before, when you're watching this one, you go, well, what the fuck was that? Like, that's kind of strange. There is moments in this. It's not as strange, but it's very, it is odd. It's an oddball film. You know, but yeah, the mystery in this film is really cool, man. I thought I just had such a blast with this, but yeah, not really a whole lot more I want to say about Debunker. I had a lot of good times with this, man. It runs just under 90 minutes, and I was shocked that it wasn't overly silly, because I had this impression it was going to be like, you know, a lot of comedy and stuff like that. And I have to say, you know, the big rumor is in the world that the Germans don't have any sense of humor. That might be true, but this one, they definitely had, they caught some sense of humor in this, because there were some really funny ass moments. There's one scene that you can see right behind me where the father is actually spanking the son. I almost pissed myself laughing at that part. It's really fucking funny, actually, just the way it goes down and stuff, because every scene in this film, you have to watch people's facial expressions and just what they're saying and things like that. And, you know, it's cool because you kind of get involved with these characters so much, because there's only 4 of them. You can't help it. You get to notice everything in the film, but yeah, you know, very cool film. There is some subtext here that I'm not going to, you know, give away and stuff. You're going to have to find that out for yourself. Maybe some social commentary and things like that. Speaking of commentaries, for the special features, actually is a director's commentary in here, which I do want to pop this back in and watch. So, you know, maybe I probably should have watched it before the review, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so there's a commentary on here, which is really cool, because these are the type of films that really deserve commentaries. So, but yeah, Debunker, I'm just kind of rambling on. If I had to rate this one, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film. If you're a fan, like I said, of Cronenberg and David Lynch films, and you like dark humor films, this one's probably going to be for you, man. Even though it's in German and it's subtitled, it's very easy to follow, like the dialogue and stuff like that. You might have to, you know, kind of really think about the subtext and things that are going on. But it is, I think it's a little bit open for interpretation. And I think the ending's very fascinating, too. I think the final scene in this film is kind of a fascinating scene. So, I don't know. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really cool. So, Debunker, definitely give this one a shot from Artsploitation Films. Always knocking it out of the park for the most part. Anyways, so yeah, that is going to do it for episode 68 here, guys. I will check you guys very soon with episode 69 and 70. I got a bunch of reviews that I'm going to be putting out. Some really cool films I'm going to be doing. So stay tuned for those. And as usual, peace!